everybody with 2 ears that I wanted to be a full-time entrepreneur. And it was very true. I really did, because I was not in alignment with that job. I couldn't find a job, and my creative business was taking off. And I was just like, hey, I'm being told something, you know, like doing the things that I love and I'm making money from it. Come on now, like what that mean? What that mean? Hi everyone, my name is Imani Black. I'm a photographer and videographer, and I've been doing photography professionally since 2017, full-time in 2023. And you know what's funny about this? I wanted to be a full-time photographer in 2018. I was like, I'm giving myself 5 years. And it ended up happening, which is really cool. But you know, it happened very unexpected, and I really want to talk about that experience with doing this full-time. But first, let me just, you know, give you an introduction into who I am. I'm a photographer, videographer. I also model. I'm a director as well. Creative director, music video director, documentary. If you look through my YouTube videos, you'll see a bunch of videos that I've done, and you'll see a lot of the work that I've created as well. But ever since 2017, I knew I aspired to do my photography and videography work full-time and to truly be a full-time entrepreneur. I started out in the advertising industry, and you know, I went to school for advertising, and I was making coffee. And it used to really upset me, and it just really grinded my gears because I felt like I wasn't being used to my fullest potential as a creative, because I had a lot of great ideas in me. But I was going down the wrong path in advertising. I can say that kind of now. I wouldn't say it was the wrong path, but it wasn't the path for me. I didn't realize until later. I was going for account management as like my specialty, and I realized like a year or so later that I was more on the creative side. But the reason why I shied away from being creative and going more into account management is because like I'm really good with people, really good with having conversations and things. And then when we were doing creative stuff in class, like back in college, like I was just not the best with Photoshop and things like that. But when I look back on it, if I would have really honed in on those skills, I could have been more of a creative. But I wasn't the creative that they kind of pushed me to be during school. So I went down the account management path. I started out as like the secretary, front desk girl at this really cool ad agency back then. And like I said, they weren't using me to my fullest abilities. I was making coffee, but I was planning events as well, and that it kind of annoyed me back then, but it really was good preparation for what I ended up doing years later. But just not really doing the things that creatively like I wanted to do, which was like being on production sets and things like that, and doing photo shoots and being involved with that process and truly learning about that. I ended up creating my own projects to get that creative bug out and to put my work out in the world, because I had the mindset that if nobody's gonna hire me to do these things, I'm still gonna do this. I have to get it out into the world. You can't stop my shine. Nobody can stop my shine. So I created these projects. The Black series, which is a photography project I created before I actually graduated. It was just a photography project showcasing the people that I admire, and then like some beautiful scenic pictures that I like taking. I ended up doing another project as well called Day with Dallas, which really helped me be put on the map as a creative in the Dallas area, because I was new to the city and I was just like, I need something to do. I don't know anyone. Like I mean, I knew people, but I didn't know people. Like I went to school in the area, so I saw people I knew kind of, but they were just like, I just knew of them. I didn't really know them. And then I just ended up like, I was always meeting like really cool people, a lot of dope creatives, a lot of cool dope stuff was happening in Dallas in that time to me. And I was so eager to like document like what I was seeing and just put it out there in the world. And that's what I ended up doing by creating a documentary series called A Day with Dallas. You can see on my page, on my YouTube page, and then also on my Instagram when I used to post on there about the project and things like that, because that was the brand page. But doing those things, during that time, I always had a full-time job, always doing something in the community, whether it was related to advertising or something else just of my interest. But I always kept a full-time job during that time, because it wasn't until about 2018 when I realized I wasn't really going to grow at my ad agency job. That's when I started really desiring to be like a full-time creative and be paid for my work. This year really happened. It literally happened, and it was really abrupt in how it happened, but I thought it was going to be on my own terms. So 2019, got out of the ad agency job. Then I was working at this other company for a while. It wasn't my dream job at all, but it was a way for me to get out of my ad agency job, which I knew I was going to be stagnant at, never grow, because I just knew it. And then I went into this job, and it was just, you know, it wasn't anything that I was truly interested in. I had to learn a lot, but I learned a lot, which I didn't realize until later. But got it in the summer of 2019. Then, you know, like 6 months later, it was COVID. So I was learning a lot during that time, but like, you know, when I look back, it was like, I truly didn't understand what was happening during that time in my career. You know, before there was COVID, always been in the office, always doing like some type of secretary work. With this job, I was doing like more project management, and, you know, I went remote. Like, I worked at that job longer remote than I did in person. The connections as far as like talking to people, I didn't really truly have the chance to make the way I did at my last job. And then as well, like the skills, like the knowledge you get being in person, and as a young person being in office and getting that knowledge, having those experiences, getting the guidance you need, just learning on the job in that specific way, which I did definitely learn in a lot of ways. But it was just, I could totally look back and see like the difference in how like things were going the way it were at my first job versus how I went at my second job. So, or my second job out of college. So after, like, you know, COVID, working through it and everything, like 2020, I had to work so hard. I look back now and I understand, like, I was new to the job. So it was like, I was working my butt off. And then also we had got like a bunch of like, we got really busy because COVID, like, you know, our market had really changed. The industry had really changed. The company was providing the software and everything like that. So I worked really hard and I was doing really well. Then I would say about 2021, things started slowing down at my job, because like once you have the software, once you have the stuff that the company was selling, like you were kind of good. We would get new clients here and there. Things were slowing down, and then it like slowed down into mediocrity in that realm of the world. While that was going on at the job, I would say about mid 2021, about 2 years in, I was excelling as a creative outside of work, like since 2019, really since 2008. I would say 2019, things really started taking off for me as a creative, and it just kept going. I was very proud of myself outside of work, but not so much at work. I was just going with the strides, just going with the flow. I don't think I really started looking for new jobs at that point, because, you know, it was an easy job. It was so easy. It was just a job. And, you know, I didn't really care about really having something that really mattered, because my creative work was really taking off during that time. Like, I did like 5 art galleries in 2021. 2022, you know, that was the beginning of the year. I ended up curating an art gallery, and like my business as a creative was just taking off. Like, it was shooting off, y'all. Like, it was amazing. It's been incredible, and I'm so thankful, because now it's brought me here to where I am today. But, you know, during that time, I would say about 2022, I just realized, like, I just started feeling mediocre, and it really didn't hit me until the summer. Wow, 3 years later after starting that job. And my solution was to try to do better at work and also look for a new job. But I knew deep down that I wanted to be a full-time creative. Or seeing the success as a creative, as a business, as a creative entrepreneur was just fueling me. It was part of what was keeping me going. It like really filled my cup. And there were some ups and downs throughout that, but that's truly a part of life. So I just took it. But I knew that I definitely wanted to be a full-time entrepreneur, but I just didn't know how yet. And I was going through my own process of like feeling the confidence and different things as an entrepreneur at that point. And you know, I just felt it. And I tried to get a new job. I tried to get a new job in 2022, but I remember they were doing layoffs. They've been doing layoffs for like 2 years at this point. I don't know if they still are right now, but like, I know at least in 2022, that's when I started seeing companies were doing layoffs. And that was when it was like noticeable to me, but I was still in the job market and everything. So it is what it was. It was what it was. So, you know, the end of 2022, I just finally was like, I really don't think there's a job out there for me right now, because I try, I apply, I talk to these big companies that are so amazing and look so good on my resume. And the fact that I even had a chance to be even talking to these companies was like a testament to me, to show that, hey, like, I am really solid. I am a really good candidate. But I was just kind of BSing through the interviews. Now that I think back, BSing through the interviews, just going in with like just pure confidence and 90% confidence, 10% preparation. And it just doesn't work like that. Even though that did happen like that, I still had a chance to talk to like these really big companies. I would get to the final rounds of interviews though, and then like they would tell me I'm not hired. So that shit used to just piss me off. So once I would say about October of 2022, maybe September, I was like, I'm done. Like these jobs have aided or have like made me super depressed. Like it's sad. Like I'm so sad because like I'm trying to get out of I'm trying to excel in my career and be better and do better, but I'm just not getting hired and nobody seems to want me truly. So I think what I'm being pushed to do is to focus on my art, and that's what I did. I released Imani Cyber Fantasy in September 1st of 2022, and when I tell you the over the years the success I saw from that, like that was supposed to be like a 1-year project. It ended up being 2 years, and I just wrapped it up in May of this year because I'm like, I have to put a cut. I have to stop this project because it's just gonna keep going and it's like old work to me. So that's another story for a different day. But you know, Imani Cyber Fantasy dropped. I did some more art galleries. Like my career, just like my creative career was just like boom, 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 like back to back. And I got a new camera. And then I finally was like, okay, I'm about to take my photography way more serious because I got this expensive ass camera and I'm so talented and I'm ready to just go all in. So 2023 is when that was literally my first time seeing like so much success as like an artist, a photographer, a model, and everything else. Like I just started seeing like so much success, and it really fueled me. Like at the beginning of last year, from sometime between March, April, May, I was like already contemplating quitting. I already had like kind of a plan in my head and different things like that. I was like, okay, go to your plan, these doctor's appointments, do this and that before you quit in June. So my plan was to quit after I went to New Orleans last year. And then like I was ready to quit when I got back. Seriously, I was so ready, but I ended up having my hard drive crash, which I made a video about this. If you haven't watched it, I'm just gonna put a little link over here so you can watch it because I was so devastated. Like devastated not only because I lost like some work that I had been producing at that point. I was producing a really cool project about my family and I lost all the files because yeah, my hard drive crashed. It was a hard time. It was such a hard time, but it really crushed me back then, and I just took it as a sign to not quit my job at that point, because the signs at that point, I've been asking God for a sign for me to quit my job for a while. And I felt like I had those signs and everything, but you know, I had to be sat down to be told, to be shown you shouldn't quit it. Like I had to be shown. And when I look back, like the signs that I was asking for, I was getting consistently booked, but it wasn't high value jobs. Let's just say that. Check out that video about New Orleans because I was really crushed during that time. And it took me a long time to even like get over it and to even be comfortable talking about it, which is why I didn't post a video until like 4 or 5 months later about it. But yeah, the hard drive had crashed in New Orleans, and I took it as a sign to not quit my full-time job at that point, but to continue working on my photography business. And yeah, so that's what I did. Then, you know, life was just lifing. It was continuing, life was still going on. I was still working, and then I was also like trying to do the right thing with my job. When I look back, guys, like this just did not make sense a year ago to me. But when I look back now, I'm like, God really was looking out for me so well. Because just imagine, like with me being mediocre at that time at my full-time job and then moving into doing my photography business full-time, I feel like I would have not been as successful. It would have taken me a little longer to be on my P's and Q's with everything, because I just took it as a sign. I was just like, hey, bloom where you're planted. I'm clearly supposed to be at this job. I'm in sales basically. So like I need to take in all this knowledge. And I told myself that the year before, but I won't do it right. I was not doing right, y'all. I was not holding it down with that job. But I did try from that point on. So from like June, July, maybe August, I would say for real, I noticed that in August, it was like, okay, fuck shit is over with BSing with this job. Like, and I'm gonna just let them fire me when it's time. Like, either I'm gonna stay here or they're gonna fire me. Like, we know it's not working. My boss and I knew it wasn't working. I knew it wasn't working. I felt it deep down, but I was really just trying because I couldn't find another job. I could not find another job for the life of me. So it was just like, okay, I'm clearly supposed to be here. I couldn't find a new job. They weren't firing me. I was like, okay, I'm supposed to be here. Forget it. I'll try to do better. I'll do better. Oh my God. Like, when I just think about everything, I'm just like, wow, yeah. Like, oh my God. I cannot believe I even stayed that long, honestly. But, you know, you can't quit a job without having a job. Or so I thought. After Thanksgiving, you know, I was just working normal stuff. And then we came back from Thanksgiving, and I think it was the week after. Let me look at my calendar real quick. Look at me, look. Came back, week of Thanksgiving, worked through that week, and then the first week of December, I got laid off. I only had 2 full-time jobs at that point, so that was my second full-time job, the one I got laid off from. So yeah, I'd never been laid off before, I'd never been fired before. And it was so funny because during that whole time, I would say all last year, I've been telling you guys I've been wanting to be a full-time entrepreneur for a long time, but last year I got vocal about it. Like, I swear I spoke it into existence. Like, I did, because I was very vocal about, like, telling everybody I wanted to be a full-time entrepreneur. I told everybody with 2 ears that I wanted to be a full-time entrepreneur. And it was very true. I really did, because I was not in alignment with that job. I couldn't find a job, and my creative business was taking off. And I was just like, hey, I'm being told something, you know, like doing the things that I love and I'm making money from it. Come on now, like, what that mean? What that mean? When we had the call, they told me I was laid off. You know, I was trying not to smirk. It was okay. Like, all of it was okay. Like, I truly felt blessed. I truly felt like God had been listening. And it really, like, it was amazing. Like, it was such a seamless, positive process. Like, oh my God, my parents, they still look at me crazy because I say that. I speak positively about that experience. Nobody can make me feel bad about that experience because, yeah, I was fired. Basically, I was laid off. I got severance, and my process was so fine. Like, I wasn't broke when I got fired. I didn't quit either. Like, I planned on quitting in June. God told me to sit down. It was literally almost 6 months later, a little over, like, I think it was like June 1st, my hard drive broke. He told me to sit down. And I sat. And then the first week of December, I got laid off. So, like, yo, nobody can make me feel bad about it. And I got laid off in the best way. Like, I got severance pay. My health insurance cut off that day, which was crazy. But listen up. I already had all my doctor's appointments at that point. I already had all my doctor's appointments for the year. I had just had my annual, was fine about everything else. Yeah, like, I was fine. I think the only thing was, it was like that day though, I actually had an eye doctor appointment scheduled, and I'm glad, like, I didn't even know I was about to get fired, y'all, but I'm glad I had the appointment scheduled because my benefits cut off at like 12 a.m. the next day. So I was like, shit, I'm so glad I had everything set up. Oh my gosh. So yeah, it was really like very much a shock. I remember I had called my boyfriend at the time, and I was just like, yeah, I got fired. Yeah, I got laid off. I got laid off. And, you know, he was trying to comfort me, but I was like, you know, I'm honestly really good. I just don't know what to do the rest of the day, but I am going to this doctor's appointment and I'm gonna just figure it out from here. And then I hit up this photography studio that I had been wanting to work for a long time. So back in May of last year, I had a client who was interested in doing a studio shoot. It was my first time like coordinating a studio shoot. And this photography studio that I hit up the day I got laid off, I had toured them during that time, and they, you know, I toured the space, ended up not using it, but I met the owner and I was talking to her, and she told me about their internship program. I met her like maybe in May. I had been planning to quit my job at some point. So I think I hit her up at the end of May, a couple of weeks after I had met her, and just asked her more about the internship program. And I told her I was already thinking about quitting my job. And she told me what was expected, and we just talked more about the details and things like that. And I had a better understanding at that point what was going to be expected of the internship if I had gotten it, and why I couldn't do it and still have a full-time job. So you know, I told you the hard drive ended up crashing. So I did not quit my job. But, you know, I had talked to her. Like, I put it out there in the universe that I wanted to work there. And I had been thinking about it. Like, I was envisioning what it would be like to be a full-time entrepreneur when I was quit, before I could not quit. I was already envisioning everything. Like, I really was. And part of my vision was working at that internship. So the day I got laid off, I think I hit her up like immediately after my doctor's appointment, set up my interview and everything, and I got the internship that Thursday. So, you know, I was fired on a Tuesday, and had the internship by that Thursday, and then I started the internship the next Tuesday. I was quick. I was like, oh my God, yes, yes, yes. So yeah, when I had the internship, I did that. But like, just being unemployed, like, it was great. I used to make jokes about it on my story, my Instagram story. I'd be like, unemployed people on a random Thursday, because I see memes about it, and it was just so funny to be like, you're out in the woods and stuff.
So today I'm going to be day drinking and smoking cigarettes in a public park at 2 p.m. in the afternoon, which I am quite excited to do.
Like, the day I got laid off, I went to the park. I was chilling. Like, I walked. I was living. Like, I really was living, literally. And then I just kind of made a plan on what I was going to do and how I was going to move forward. Told my parents that day about it and everything. And, you know, okay, y'all, my camera is overheating for some reason. And so, yeah, I'm gonna just continue my story on here. By the way, this is a dream catcher and a cross, because yeah, dreams come true. So yeah, but yes, so continuing the story from when I was laid off was really great for me. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, it was a really good experience. I signed up, I think that day I signed up, or the week I got laid off, like, I signed up to do an internship. I signed up to take a class at the community college about photography, because I was just like, when will I ever have this time to like do nothing? Like, when will I ever have this time to be in this position? I don't know. So I'm going to take advantage of it. So what I did was I signed up to take a class, photography class. I was like, oh my God, I'm so like, oh my God, I'm such a kid, or I'm such a student. I'm a student. I am a student. I am a student at life. And I really felt really good about signing up for school and everything like that. So yeah, I was doing that. Let's see, went through Christmas. I was fine. Like, financially, I was fine. I had moved in with my parents sometime last summer. I had moved from downtown Dallas. That's where I was living before. And I moved out to the burbs with my parents. And, you know, I think everything really did line up perfectly, because I can't imagine living downtown and paying rent and then everything else, like, and then getting laid off. And here's another thing. It's funny because God, y'all, God is really looking out for me, your girl, for real. But it's funny because when I got laid off, I was already about to move out of my parents' house. I was about to move into my own apartment, actually. And I think the day I got laid off, I had to cancel. I had to take care of a lot of stuff the day I got laid off, actually. I chilled. It was kind of chill, but I also had to take care of business. I decided to apply for an apartment because I was tired of living with my parents at that time. And so that was around Thanksgiving, was going through the motion and everything like that. Got approved, was set to move in, like, actually the week after I had got laid off. And I just had to let go of the lease, and it sucked so bad. I almost didn't want to do it because I was like, give me a reason to go hard. Like, that's the type of time I was on. I was like, give me a reason to go harder. Like, I can do the apartment. I could do everything. But my boyfriend at the time and my parents, they just encouraged me to let it go. And I'm glad I did. Because I just can't imagine having to deal with rent on top of being unemployed at that time. And it just made life easier for me overall. Like, being unemployed was easier because I didn't have rent and I didn't have a lot of bills. So yeah, financially I was fine. I was able to do my internship as well. It was an unpaid internship, but the benefits were so worth it. So yeah, I started the internship that week. Then I started school in January. I actually ended up only going 2 days, 2 days. It was just once a week on Friday, I think. And I just felt like it was just taking away time from me making money. mind you, like I had some bookings that I already had booked by the time I got laid off, and I just took like some other jobs, like little jobs, but these are like not well-paying jobs. These were not comma clients. And let me tell y'all, I need comma clients. And what is a comma client? A comma client is, I made up this term. A comma client is a client where the invoice got a comma in it. I had never seen that until last year. And so it opened up my mind to like these possibilities. And I had like a photographer friend that I met through Instagram, YouTube. He was spilling tea, like letting me know like what was up. Like, you can make this type of money as a photographer. And I was like, wait, hold up. And then I started seeing it eventually, like through his like guidance, and like he helped me. And so it was just like, yo, like I did not need no full-time fucking job. But I did until I didn't. But yeah, about January, my severance was wearing off at that time. And I just wasn't seeing like the money I needed to see. And yeah, it was tough. Like that time was actually a bit tough, but I was very optimistic. Like I told myself by May, I was going to have my shit together. And that ended up being the case. But, you know, during that time, it was just very hard. But I was so optimistic. Like, you know, I truly believed I was going to get clients. I really didn't know how though. And my relationship at that time, you know, he held it down for the most part, but I knew I had to change, and I wanted him to grow with me and be progressive with me. And it was looking like he wasn't going to, which is why he had to end up getting dropped eventually, on top of that for other reasons too. But, you know, it was just like I was starting to see like where, I don't want to say where I went wrong, but I could see why I was in the situation where I was. And, you know, it wasn't just like, it wasn't just the job. It was me overall as a person being mediocre overall. Not overall, kind of overall. Like I was doing really good with my photography business, but I wasn't. That work ethic that I had at my job, it don't go away. It doesn't, like, you have to be intentional about the work ethic and things like that. So I was really intentional about like working hard and being like, I didn't have that obligation no more and feeling like shit about like not about being mediocre at my full-time job. So I just like really took that time to like really like see better for myself and try to do better, be on time for stuff, keep my commitments, and just really move with more integrity as well. And it ended up really transpiring through my business over time. By the time February rolled around, like I was finally seeing like more clients and like bookings and things like that. And it was just so cool. Like I was just like, wow, like this is literally what I've been wanting. It was just progressively getting better. And during that time, like while I was unemployed, I still did free stuff. And I know what you're thinking. It's like, you need money. You need to like not do free stuff. And that was kind of my mindset too. But I do believe in relationships, and I do believe in giving back. And that's just a part of like who I am. Like no matter how much money I make and how successful I am, I'm still going to always give back. I still will choose to do a photography or do a photo shoot for free or a lower cost to do what I want, because I'm able to. I can do that. That to me is true freedom. Like not every client has to be a comma client, but I need enough to be a comma client, and I need consistent work. But I knew that I still wanted to do free stuff. So I did some pro bono work. And while I was at my internship, I had the opportunity to do a free studio shoot each month. And these studio shoots, they could just be like for your creative portfolio. So I did a lot of that. I did one free photo shoot a month, and like it just really helped me like grow as a photographer. And it's funny because like before I was laid off and everything, like my thing was like, I'm trying to make these bands. I ain't doing shit for free. Fuck all that. But when I was unemployed and could do it free time, like my heart expanded. Like it was just like, you don't have to think limitedly. It's not all about money. It is about like relationships. It is about growth. It is about the experiences as well. And it's like, I don't want to be so, what's the word? Cut off. Oh, there we go. I don't want to be so cut off from the world that like I just can't work with like everyday people. Like I don't want to necessarily be that. I did know by March I didn't want to work with like $250, $300, $400 photo shoots. I knew that by March. I was like already thinking, I'm like, okay, I got to go to the next level. So I I started doing, I just realized my incense never went off. Hold up.
I set this incense off before I even started the video, and it totally isn't off. There we go.
That maybe there can be another video about like all of this whole process, and like talk about how I got like clients and things like that, because that was a lot. That was a lot. It took some learning, and it's still some learning going on, but I feel much better now. I can also talk about like the type of clients I was taking and how I even defined like what my business was, because I think that's a big part of like being an entrepreneur full time, as well as defining like what your services are. Because by March, I was burnt out. I was like starting to get a little burnt out, and I was like, I think I'm ready to like stop doing this like full time. Like, it's fun. I learn a lot. I love having my freedom and everything, but I think I do appreciate stability. Even though I'm making like more money than I would at my full-time job, I appreciate stability. Also appreciate having health insurance. And I don't think this is what I want to do full time. And so with some time, I was still taking bookings, but I just started saying no more to people. There was a shift going on in my life. Like, I started desiring like way more, started realizing like I have to do better. I'm doing good. I'm catching up to where I would be financially if I had a full-time job. So I kind of made up for it, but I have to do better. I want to get the clients that I want to work with the clients that I really want to work with. I want to work with these big brands and things like that. Late March, I started getting like bigger opportunities. Like, it was incredible. It was incredible, y'all. Like, big opportunities. And I handled that. I ate that. But they were big opportunities, but they were happening like in a couple weeks. But it was cool. It was really cool. I would say about early March, actually. I don't know. It was in March, April. And then me and my ex broke up at some point around the eclipse time. And the things, God knew he didn't need to be around for what I had coming, because things really took off in a big way that I didn't even know would happen this quick. And it was very powerful. It was so powerful. I ended up working, I want to say at the beginning of May, I ended up working like a lot of cool gigs after we broke up. And then May is when like I got bigger gigs than I like was even expecting. It was so cool. It was so cool. And so, May, things started really taking off. I did a documentary. I worked on a documentary. I got paid to do that. Like, literally, when I made my documentary years ago, nobody paid me. And I paid a lot of money to not a lot of money, but I invested my money into my photography and videography in that documentary that I made in 2018 to 2019. So to be hired years later to do a documentary for a big band and production company and things like that, it was so tight. Like, I was just like, this is crazy. And then it was cool because I also could take less bookings. Like, I started seeing like a new version of success. And it was just it's been a very interesting time. So now here we are in June. I realize nobody is going to save me. I don't wanna be saved, bitch. I don't wanna be saved. Don't save me. I don't wanna be saved. Don't save me. And I have to save myself. And that's what I've really grown to do and truly appreciate about like this whole journey so far. Like, this has been a journey. Like, since I've turned 28, y'all, all of this shit has happened. And this is only the tip of the iceberg. This is nothing to truly what has happened. Like, I'm not even like, it's just so much has happened. But let me tell y'all the biggest takeaways I've gotten from doing this full time. First off, I knew I had the skills. I knew I had the background. I knew I had the wit, the grit, and everything in me to be a successful entrepreneur. I saw success for the first time. I saw beyond mediocrity for the first time. Mediocrity in my life for myself for the first time in a long time, and in a way that I had truly been desiring and seeing for myself. There's still things I need to get down pat before I can truly feel 100% comfortable to not have a full-time job. And I'm okay with that. I can truly admit that, understand that, and appreciate that honesty within myself. There's more lessons I have to learn, and like, I'm not in a rush. I'm just not in a rush anymore. And I don't feel like, yeah, anymore. I feel really good. Like, I'm very happy. I truly appreciate everything. I truly appreciate the experience. Like, I wouldn't have had it any other way. I wouldn't have had it happen any other way. Truth be told, I felt like I was living a very mediocre life for a long time. And it showed through like my skin, it showed through my hair, it showed through my makeup. I look cute like on the outside and everything all through this time, but it wasn't truly who I wanted to be. I would say the woman I am now is the version I wanted to be a couple months ago. And it's like I'm steady progressing into the woman that I truly want to be, which is really amazing. So like, I just feel like I was living a mediocre life though, like mediocre with how I was eating, carrying myself, being late to stuff. I was fighting mediocrity for so long within myself. And it's so hard to do it because nobody is going to stop you. Nobody is going to keep you from like doing the dumb shit or doing the mediocre shit. Like I can say it was just mediocre for a long time over here. And I just didn't like that. Like, I'm not mediocre. I'm really like great. I'm really amazing. I'm big. I'm loud. I'm proud. I'm a lot. Like, I'm okay with that though. I was staying comfortable for a long time and not really honoring my true gifts and talents and passions. And I can only say this now because being a full-time creative entrepreneur was like truly the first time I felt like so proud of myself and so like so much faith in myself, so much faith in God and the universe, and just like understanding that what is happening in front of me and unfolding is a result of what I have allowed in my life, what I have asked for, what was meant to happen. And so it truly has been very much a journey for me, and it has not been easy, but I don't feel any regrets. I don't feel like jaded or anything. Like I just can't. I really can't, because my life is good and I'm happy. I'm so much happier now than I was. And not every day is peaches and rainbows, but you remember a year ago, I was talking about I'm not happy and things like that. Like that video from then to now is like totally a different tune, and I'm gonna keep growing, and it's like okay to naturally progress and want better, and I will never apologize for that because I'm not gonna stay the same forever, because like no, like I want to be a full-time artist one day, just like doing art and chilling and having a farm and things like that. And like I'd rather work, I told myself this years ago, I'd rather work hard, work my ass off now, because when I'm ready to have kids, I'm chilling. When I'm ready to be married and have my husband take care of me, I'm not fucking going to work. I'm chilling. I'm not going to be working this hard all my life. Like, I'd rather do it now while I'm young and ain't got no obligations to nobody. So, yeah. Only person I have an obligation to is myself, and to build this life that I want for myself and enjoy my life right now and keep going. That's all my only obligation is to right now. So, like, I got the little things, the little pieces in my world that keep me to do that. And I feel like so much better, so much more confident about all of this now. So everything really does happen for a reason. And I can't not be successful. Like, hold up. I have this thing. I made it on my wallpaper a long time ago. Hold up. How do I edit home screen? Okay. This is on my home screen. It says, my success is inevitable. This has been my home screen for a long time. I don't even know. Sometime last year, before I got laid off, I think. So like doing this video, I've been wanting to do YouTube and talk about like this whole experience for a long time. But I felt like I had to like go through some things, go through a lot, honestly, go through the motion, figure this shit out before I could get on here and talk confidently about like what has happened and with my experience and what I'm going through. Because this has not been pretty. It ain't been easy. I've been like really going through it. But like, I don't get depressed. I try not to get depressed about it, is the thing. It's hard. Life is hard. And it's hard doing it alone too. But I'm so thankful I have my friends, I have my family, I have my community, I have my art. I have like so many things that keep me going and root for me. And I truly feel the love, and I give that love. Like, to me, I am of love and of light, and I can be that. I am that. So I want that in my life, and I'm gonna give it. Doing this video has been hard for me because I've been shy about talking to YouTube again, telling my business and everything. But what I'm telling you are things that this, I'm just telling you, because it's not perfect. My life is not perfect, but it's worth it. It's so worth it. And I have like a story to share. This is a part of my testimony. Like, this is a part of my testimony, honestly, because I know I'm destined for great things. And I'm just going through this process right now. And I hope people can look back and see what I've like shared and have created over the years and truly be inspired and see me and them. And because I see myself in other people as well. Like, I love watching YouTube. I love YouTube. I love like learning people's stories and things like that. And my life is, I just want to be proud of myself. And I am proud of myself in so many ways, and prouder than ever before, because I just know like it's going to work out. It's going to work out. And I hope that this talking can inspire somebody to keep going and not stop. Even when it feels weird, even when it feels stupid, even when you have circumstances and situations around you that are not truly in alignment, have faith and keep praying. When I decided to surrender, be obedient, and really trust myself more than ever before, is when things started changing. And it was rocky looking back, but I still know this time is growing time. I've been going to church more lately, and haven't been in a long time, but I started going this year, and I've been wanting to for a while. So I'm very proud of myself. Like, this is just little check marks for me. But I went to church, and during that time I was feeling like very aggravated, very angry, because of a lot of situations, but especially because I went through a breakup. But God told me, or not God, yes, God, but the pastor had said something that really like stood out to me. And he said, waiting season is praying season. Keep praying, y'all. Keep praying. Keep being faithful. Keep being obedient. Keep listening. God is going to forgive you when you don't listen, but just listen. Truly trust and have faith. It's funny how I've lacked faith. Not lacked faith. I've always believed in myself, but my name means faith. And now I'm like, what do I look at? How do I embody faith in a different way? That's more confident. That's more in alignment. More in a way that doesn't cause me to have fear of missing out or doing stuff that's not in alignment, and I know it, and I'm like still doing it. Like, I don't know. I'm looking at faith in a different way. And how does that look for me? Follow me on Instagram and TikTok at imaniblack photo, and sign up for my newsletter. I created a newsletter where I share like the artsy things I do in the DFW area. And yeah, I have a new one coming out. I also share my creative updates in this newsletter. If you want to know what I got going on as a creative, and then also like what's going on in the DFW area, like events and things that I find interesting, sign up for that newsletter. I'll leave a link down below. Another thing, I started a new Pinterest board. It's called For Creatives. And it's really like a board that I made to kind of inspire myself. Because I need inspiration. I need constant inspiration, because it's hard. It's hard doing this, but I have to keep going. I have to keep going. We all have to keep going. And I want to encourage you to keep your gifts, keep your day job. If you need a day job, keep your day job, but also nurture your gifts and fuel yourself. I knew a long time ago I wasn't going to be fulfilled from just working my full-time job. Even though I was in the advertising industry, I knew I wasn't going to just be fulfilled doing that. And that's okay. I made myself do projects so I could be fulfilled. And having that mindset at a young age, not letting these people tell me no or make the coffee only, did not stop me. And here we are years later, and this journey is still unfolding. The story is still unfolding. So keep your day job, keep going, and follow my Pinterest board for more like inspiration as well. Like, I love posting on there, so I'm on there a lot. And then last but not least, book me. I figured out where my strengths and weaknesses are as a photographer. And these are things that I just had to learn while being full-time, because I said yes to a lot of things that I should have said no to. And I figured it out. This is just how you learn though. I figured it out though. You can book me through my website. I travel a lot. I'm also going to LA next month. I'm traveling to do my photography. I'm traveling to meet people this year. Like I'm trying to be outside. Okay? Trying to be outside. So yeah, keep up with me. I'm on Instagram and TikTok, and I'm on my website, and I just look forward to like life and things happening. So yeah, I hope this video you found informational, valuable. I'm happy to share my testimony and where I am right now and what I've just been going through for the past 6 months. So yeah, holla at your girl.